everyone, this is Lori from the Crafting Auntie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be sharing with you this design team project that I have made for Polka Art Studios. I absolutely love this project. It's just a small thin journal with a topper on the top and just a small single signature inside. There's a few little things that I'll show you that I have created for this journal and how I did this front cover part with this beautiful girl peeking out through the window. So I will show you how I did this, and so let's get started. Okay, so let's make the cover. So I have cut two pieces. This piece is 8.5 by 8 5/8. I have scored a 1/2 inch on the right side, and on the left side I have scored 2 inches, and this is going to become a pocket. So this is going to fold over. The second piece is the same exact size, only on the left side you would score it a 1/2 inch, and then if you were to turn it around you would score it at 1 5/8 and then another 1/2 inch, if that makes sense. So how this is going to go together is this will go together here. This will be a pocket, and then this is going to be a magnet closure. And I'll show you why I'm doing a magnet closure this way. And I think I'm also going to probably put a little ribbon out here where you can pull it up. So the first thing I'm going to do is just put these two pieces together and get that glued, and then it'll hopefully make a little bit more sense. And let's see, let me get my phone folder. Okay, so here's our spine now. And then this is going to become a pocket right here. For the closure, it's going to be a magnet here and magnets here. So that's what I want to put on next. So I have these magnets, and I get these off of Amazon, and we have some double-sided tape. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is put it on this side for where the pocket's going to be. And I think we're going to use 3. I think it's going to need at least, maybe we'll do 4. I think 4 might give it a little bit more stability. I want to make sure, even if it gets full, that it's going to still close. So we'll just kind of eyeball, space these out, and add some double-sided tape. I find this to be the easiest way to make sure your magnets stay on well. Okay, so there's that. This is going to be this way. So this is going to come over like this. Now we need 4 more magnets, and then we're going to add the double-sided tape with the sticky part up, and that way that's going to be what secures it to the other side. We want it to come right to where this fold is. So match these up and make sure that it's going to be straight. You don't want it to be angled here. You want this to be straight. And then we'll try and give this a press. I think a little ribbon stuck in here would be nice. Be able to lift that up with it. Okay, so the magnets are on. Let's just make sure that they're pressed down good. And then when we cover this, we'll take off the backing, and then that way they'll be nice and secure in there. So let's just make sure we're looking still good, and we are. All right, so the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it all over. I'm going to add papers. So the papers that I have chosen are these. So I'm going to put these on the inside. Let's see, this one here. And then I've got some spine pieces. So here and inside here. And then on the outside, I'm going to be putting these. Okay, I'm just finishing up gluing, and then I want to show you what I do when I'm gluing paper on top of the magnet. So we'll get this front piece on. And then all the paper except for right here is on, and I'll show you that in just a second. So I have just a very tiny border, and I have inked all the edges and all of the seams and all the paper. So this piece is going to go here, and all I do is peel off the backings, because this helps, this having this extra tape on here helps, along with the glue, really makes the magnets secure. Okay, so this is going to be the side that's going to tuck in here. Here, I'm going to leave this side because this is where I want to put the ribbon, so that I could just lift it up this way. I can go ahead and do that. So all I'm going to do is add some glue to this side and this side. Now we can glue that down. Give that a good press. Sure. This is kind of thick paper, so I'm using 110-pound craft cardstock. I've used this quite a bit, so I've done several projects with it. So this will make a nice little pocket. Don't know what I'm putting in there yet, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so there we have it. Now, the reason why I did the closure this way is because I have worked putting together a little window seam that I want to put on the front. So what I've done is, this is just a piece printed on cardstock. I've left this border on because you're not going to see it anyway. I have then measured and created this window. So this is just out of craft cardstock. I then covered it by laying my craft cardstock frame on top of the paper, tracing all the way around it, cutting it out, and gluing it on. Then in a recent video, and I'll link it below, I showed how I did these little side pieces. I actually did a little bit better job than what I did on the first one. So you'll see that it has this little 1/4 inch. So that's going to raise that up. And then out of one of the other pages, the other half of this one, so she was over here, I cut her out and I added some glossy accents on several pieces, mostly the flowers, her lips, and a little bit on her dress here, and then on the butterfly on the book. So she is going to go here. I'll just kind of give you an idea what it's going to look like. And I'm going to center that, and then this is going to get glued over the top. And that's going to be the front of our cover. But before I do this, one thing I want to do is I want to pop her up a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to use this puff tape here. So I'm going to use this puff tape, and we're going to put it on the back of her. It's not very thick. Okay, so now she's got that little bit of dimension there, which is going to help when we get that set into the window. Let me press that down really good. And then this piece, open this back up, is going to go right here. And then the window is going to go over it. So I just want to make sure I don't have any white or anything else peeking out, which I don't believe I do. That is perfect. All right. And in the video I show what I use. I just used a 1/4 inch double-sided tape to make it sturdy inside that trough. So in that video you can see basically the same thing that I have done here. Okay, so what I came up with is on the center of, there's 2 signatures. These pages are so gorgeous. I thought, how fun would it be to have a kind of a hidden pocket. Now, I did ink it so you could see it a little bit, but there's a pocket right here. Isn't that fun? So I matched it up. This is regular paper. This is 65-pound cardstock, of which I then inked around so it would give it a little bit more pop, but you have a pocket here to put all kinds of things in. So I also have put together, printed a couple of pages from another kit, and I'm going to use those hopefully to tuck in there. So there's that one. So I thought we could do this one together. So here's the center, and then here's the pieces that will go on top to create the pockets. So all I did was match them up. Just do the best you can, and then glue it down. So I'm going to just hold this in place. I'm going to add glue. Okay, so there is our hidden pockets. Aren't they cool? Okay, so I have a few more things to show you, so I'm going to gather some things together and then we'll come back. Okay, so I went ahead and added the ribbon for my closure. So if you remember, we put the magnets on under here and here. And then I moved the ribbon to make sure it wasn't over the magnet, because as it is, this is pretty full. And I was going to do 2 separate signatures, but I had to reduce this one. And so I just have 1 signature in here now. And so I've covered this to cover up the magnets and added the ribbon. So that's what I've done here. Oh, I added this little decoration right there too. Okay, so what I wanted to show you is I had taken a couple of pieces, actually these are pages from one of the kits that I'm using, and I shrunk them down to a page, and then I printed them and covered them with tea dye paper on the inside. So these are going to go inside those little leaf pockets, the kind of the hidden pockets. So that's what I have for those. And then I have this little spinner. Really simple to do. I did back these with cardstock because these happen to be on regular paper. And so all I'm going to do is show you how to do that. Super, super easy. Just a fun little project if you want to add to anything. So I have my 3 tags here. And let me just put them all the right way. And then I'm just going to, let's see, I think I'm going to do it on this side this time so that they're opposite. Line them up in the corner. And then I have this piece of foam that I use. And then I'm just going to poke a hole through the whole thing. Now these are quite large brads. So put it through and then open it up. And then press that down really good. So now you got another little spinner. So I got one for a couple of pages in there. I made one of these doily pockets. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one with you. Super easy. Let me just ink this little gal. I put these in my Cricut and shrunk them down, and I'll show you why I shrunk them down in just a moment. So on this little doily, I have just basically kind of cut part of it off. So I'm going to glue on the bottom here. And that will go on the front. That'll make a tuck spot. And on the back, I'm just going to glue this down. Kind of get the idea where the glue should go here. And that way, you've got a pocket here, because I'll just glue on 3 sides, and then a pocket here, and I'll put this little gal. I will have all the kits that I've used linked below. And I just want to make sure that that doesn't go through to hinder anything to go in there. Make sure this one's good. Yeah, this one's good too. Okay, the last thing I wanted to show you, and then we'll put a couple of pockets in, is this little bookmark. So recently I had a previous video that I came up with this idea, and this is using old slides. So I got these slides off of Etsy. If you have some from maybe your family that you don't use or use a projector anymore, you can use them. So all I did was I took them apart just carefully. I took out the film strip that's in there, and I used that to cut my acetate. And then I have backed these front and back. So the reason why I made these little fussy cuts is I mirror image them so I can have one in the front, one in the back. And this will be a little bookmark that will go in here, and it will peek out the top, and then it'll be double-sided. So you'll have both sides to play with. So where I'm at now on this is actually just adding the ribbon. So I'm going to just cut some pieces of ribbon to attach them together. I'm just winging it, really, just whatever size these are probably going to be way too big. So 1, 2, 3, let's see. This is my top one, this is my bottom one. I gotta make sure I get these all in right. So I've used a slotted punch that I had, and these are pretty thick, so it takes some muscles. I had stuff flying everywhere. If you watch my previous video that is out, you'll see that. Okay, so we are going to connect them here, here, and here. Don't need anything down here. So I need the 3 here, and then 1 out the top I'm going to make a lot larger. Okay, so the way I did it is I fed it through, and then I glued it down here because I don't want it moving. I want to make sure that it's sturdy so it can be used. And pinch that a little bit, let that glue catch, and then on the back what I did is I put glue, come down here, right here again, but then I also put glue on this part of the ribbon. and that will also give it some stability. Then the top, I think I have a little bit too much. I want to make a loop. So let's just cut that off there. And this can peek out the top. And then I'm just going to glue this to where this little loop is out the top, and that way you can grab it if you need to. So just add some more glue right there, and then glue this down. Now you can also add a ribbon and a bow or something like that at the top, which I will probably do. Okay, so there's the first one. The next one, we're going to feed through the front to back. I'm going to add the glue here. Get that in position where I want it, centered, and then pinch that down and let that take hold. And again, we're going to do the same thing. Flip it over, add the glue here and on this piece. And this gives us that stability that is needed. Let that dry. And then you're going to take it and you're going to feed it through the next one this way and kind of judge where you want, how much space you want. So let me just add some glue here. And then I think I want about that much. So what is that, like about 3/4 maybe? Pinch that down and then do the same thing. Now you may have to trim some of this off the back. So I'm going to trim a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing. Glue here and on here. And press that down. And then just try as your best to get it even so that it looks like this. And then we're going to take the next piece and we're going to go through the front. I'm going to go ahead and add my glue here. And then go through the front. Get it in place, pinch it down in the front, turn it over, add your glue here and on this piece, and glue it down. So they go together pretty quickly, and it makes a fun two-sided bookmark. I had no idea. I had all these slides. I have been scratching my head going, what can I make with these? And all of a sudden, I was thinking about something and it popped in my head about making a bookmark. And I thought, okay, let's give this a try. Now you want to make sure you kind of get this as even as you can so that it's like the same amount that you've got going between each one. Now they're not going to be perfect. I know that, but you know, I'm just going to do the best I can. And then glue it down here. This is what gives it that added stability, because if we don't, and if we don't glue it on the actual slide, it's just gonna flop around, and that's something that I did not want to do. And then the last piece, we're gonna do the same thing, and that will finish our little bookmark. Now, if your journal is taller or shorter, you just adjust. Maybe you only need 3 of the slides instead of 4. So you could do that. Just a fun little project. If you don't have any slides, now I did find these on Etsy. There's a lot of different ones. Just look for projector slides. I need to put a little bit more glue on this one. I think I moved it around too quickly. And then we're just going to attach our last piece. So right through the front, kind of get the same amount, line it up as best you can. Just take your time on this. I think I say that a lot because I have to take my time to make sure that I'm getting it right too. So just take your time. And then we will glue this down. And that finishes our little bookmark. Now I think I want to add a couple of bows, one in the front and one in the back. I have these tiny bows here. I'm trying to think which color would go the best. I think this one will probably be the best. So I have a couple of these. So I think I will just put one here and on the other side. And that way on either side you've got a cute bow at the top. These are just some journal cards, but I'm going to use them as pockets. I think I actually like this one better. So let's go ahead and glue this in. So we'll tuck some things in and then we'll do a final flip through. So let's see. I think here. It kind of needs a little something. So let's go ahead. We'll do this on 3 sides. So we have a double pocket, so a little tuck and a pocket. These leaf papers, I just absolutely love them. They are so pretty. And then let's do this one here. Isn't she cute? This is a fall portraits, I think. I'll link all the kits that I've used because I just kind of went searching what did I have and also what did I request to work with, and I wanted to get it all put together. Okay, one more, and I think it'll go really well with these 2 things. So again, 3 sides. And I made sure that these are glued down so they don't catch. You could cut them off if you want to, but I decided not to. Okay, so I'm going to clean up here, get things kind of all cleaned up around, and then I'm going to do a flip through with you real quick. So I'll be back. Okay, it's finished. Now I've had to do a little bit of adjustments and just to make sure that this would close nicely. Next time I probably will make it a little bit thicker, but I had a lot of fun using these beautiful papers that I have been using from Polka Art Studio, and I had a lot of fun with doing the front top cover that I showed you how to do. I added these leaves on here, and so this journal, I showed you how to create it. And you can see that she, with the glare, it's kind of hard, but you can see that she's got glossy accents on her. Now you can use resin if you want to. Sorry, my light is there and there's acetate here, so it's picking it up. But there is glossy accents all in there. And then I covered the front and back with this plaid paper. Added these ribbons as an opening because there's magnets underneath there. So let me show you the inside. So I've had to move around some of these little things that are bulky from when I was creating this, just so that it would close nicely, because I probably should have made it maybe 3/4 of an inch, but I only did a 1/2 inch. But that's okay. So next time I'll know. So this is a pocket that I showed you how I did. Magnets are here, and then magnets are here. So that way I could do that window on the front. So that's why I did that. Then a couple of journaling cards here that I just backed with some craft cardstock. Aren't they gorgeous? I will be, as I said before, I'll be linking all the kits below that I have used. This is the spinner. So just very simple, 3 cards, or you can use any kind of pieces of ephemera and a brad, and that's all you need. Really easy to do. And then these gorgeous Fall Splendor leaf papers. I've torn all the edges on these because I just really thought it would go so well with it. So I'll just show you all these pages. Aren't they gorgeous? Oh my gosh, they are so pretty. Then I added some of my own coffee dye paper in here. This is just from one, I think it's Autumn Portraits or Vintage Autumn Portraits. I'll link it below. I just made a pocket out of it, tucked a little piece of ephemera in here. Another page. This is a hidden pocket that we did. I showed you how to do that. This is another page. I did 2 pages from another kit, 2 to a page, and then I also added tea dye paper, so there's writing space. I wanted to add a little bit more writing space in here. So you got writing space here, here, on here. There's lots of writing space in between here. So here we made this little doily tuck spot and pocket. I just used a piece of ephemera from one of the kits that I'm using. And then here's the other spinner that I just tucked in here. Lots of writing space here too. And here in the center we have the hidden pockets again. So this is the other page that I had printed to a page and added the tea dye paper. It's got lots of writing space. And this one as well. They're gorgeous. Now you could add resin or glossy accents anywhere within this journal if you wanted to highlight some stuff, but I'm pretty happy with the way it came out the way it is. More writing space here, and then another one of these pockets. She's so cute with the dog. Isn't she adorable? And then another piece of ephemera. Another one of the pockets, and another one of these journaling folders that I made with the tea dye paper inside, tucked into that hidden pocket. So as you can see, it's the same paper. So I used 32 pound underneath and cardstock on top, and that was 65 pound. And that way it gave us some stability. And then here's a hidden paper clip that I put together to add in the top. I had one more that I was going to put in here, but it was just too bulky, too large. So that's this one. I'll save it for another project. And then we have another pocket here with a little tuck spot here, and there is pocket back here, but I didn't add anything since it was getting too full. And this page, leaf papers are so gorgeous. And this page, I added this hidden paper clip onto the back here, and then this is the bookmark that we made together using slides. Taking out the film strip, the negative that's in here, adding some acetate, and then I did these fussy cuts in my Cricut. I shrunk them down, and then I printed one set as it was, and then I mirror imaged the second set. So this makes a nice little fun bookmark that you can use either in this or another journal, and it's double-sided, so depending on where it is, it always looks pretty. And then I added this little decoration here. Here's the back where you can see the other side of this bookmark. I thought I would just tuck that in right there and then close up the journal. So to have it open, since it had all of the magnets and stuff, I thought it'd be fun to use this ribbon. So I just took a couple of pieces of ribbon, folded it in half, used some double-sided tape, and glued that down, and then I put the paper on top. So here's where it is tied together, real simple. And then you can see here, here's how I built up that front piece. Well, I hope you guys like this project. Maybe you'll give it a try. There's lots of gorgeous kits that Polka Art has. Again, I'll list all those below this video. And then I'll also tag the video that I had done where I had also done this other bookmark and a few other things if you'd like to see that. Okay, well that's it for today. So I hope you guys have a great day. God bless you all, and we'll see you at the next video. Bye.